Hello and welcome to Utopia News, WARCAST for age 92, year 1, age of ancestry. The date is currently May 7th, year 1. This is Wind, your host. We're going to take a quick look at the target finder and everything that's currently going on, in the past 72 hours, with some special mention to one war we will be keeping a close eye on. Currently, the kingdom tagged as Barco. We want to keep a close eye on that one. And of course, Crosswords, their opponent. Hopefully, we'll have some more information and follow up tomorrow. Approximately, I want to say 24 hours from now, we should have some good feedback from some of the other warcasters. But without further ado, let's dive in to May 7th, year 1 on the target finder. All right. Just want to make sure that that's going to be big enough for everyone. There we go. That's our usual size. All right. If you notice, I have this shiny new account, courtesy of Utopia admins, to help me, look at the target finder without, having to worry about giving away any information. And we can look at kingdoms as everyone else would as well without using the target finder. Maybe that'll help someone, maybe it won't. Anyway, let's go in here and see what's going on. I mean, here's another war we were looking at the top here, 9 days in. Of course, that one's already over, but just to give you some idea of how long things actually stay on the target finder. But without further ado, as I mentioned, let's get into this right away because we do have a feature war presentation coming up after this as well, just after a short break. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, so this is the war that we're going to feature later on Sunday. It caught a lot of attention. We're just going to take a quick look here. I'm not really going to read into it very much. Just kind of see if the same patterns are emerging as to when I checked it the last time. Um, yeah, definitely a war we want to look at later on down the line. Really not enough time has passed, in terms of what's actually happened. As I said, that'll be the topic of discussion tomorrow, but, definitely take a look at the target finder for yourself and see what's going on with this utopian crossword versus Barco Loco. So we're not going to look at that one anymore because, as I said, we're going to have some exciting coverage for it tomorrow. On to the next one. We got a 72-hour war here. Word read 6-7 versus Mokujin no Jutsu. Let's take a look at the land to see if this war is still in progress. Looks like it is. Definitely, last time we looked at this war, it probably was going anyone's way. But now, I mean, it's definitely a lot more clear in terms of the land. The Blue Kingdom here is clearly making quite an impact on the land side with each of their waves, whereas Ward agreed is the red side here is not quite taking as much land. As you can see, they just had a wave which dropped them significantly here. Almost down one complete line on the chart. Let's take a look at the net worth on this one. Um, different story. So we can see, the Blue Kingdom is definitely land fat. So they're just taking advantage of, as many acres as they can grab, while War Greed is actually, the Red Kingdom is actually beating them down. So as you can see, contrary to the land exchange, the same pattern is still emerging here. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there were dragons involved on both sides of this one. That kind of downward trend usually indicates there's dragon play involved. Without pulling the news, we can't say for sure, but quickly, if we look at the land on the bottom end of the provinces, you can see, this kingdom, who's actually short a province, is definitely taking advantage of the land. This undead, this avian, this human are kind of just flying away. I mean, their net worth isn't very high, so that kind of tells me that they're very land fat. Probably can't defend these acres, so it's very likely, once the next wave comes up, or whenever they feel like the Red Kingdom can kind of just take back those acres. And again, they are one province short. So again, honor tells the same story as net worth relative to land a little bit. You can see some of the correlations. Again, really, really hard fought battle in the beginning, but a victor clearly, you know, began emerging shortly after min time. We're currently at 72 hours on this war. So, best of luck to the Blue Kingdom. I always like to see when kingdoms turn things around. So, if you got some big ace up your sleeve, now's the time to use it, guys. Otherwise, I hope you're planning for your ceasefire, regardless of what you choose to do. Let's move on to the next war. Home Sweet Home versus California Knights Hospitaller. Let's see. Okay, this war is actually over. Knights Hospitaller takes the win. I mean, the land is pretty evident that wave over wave. This kingdom again missing one province, can't really keep up. With Knights Hospitaller again, a very experienced war kingdom. And I mean, look at this again. Their top acres on the withdrawal side. It's basically the bottom acres on Knights Hospitallers. They basically just sat on top of them. Looking at the net worth side of things, that can always tell a different story. Uh, Here we go. Wow, okay. Knights Hospital really just, crushed them, basically. I mean, there's not much to look into here. They didn't seem to make much of a dent here. Possibly no dragons were used at all, or if they were very ineffective or a poor choice. Possibly they just had no econ left. So, I mean, this to me kind of indicates that, as they're growing, they're probably just feeding dragons and pounding down on these guys. As you can see, there's a pretty good amount of growth. Change-wise, there isn't too much going on, but the war is over for some time now, so that's not really the best indicator. On net worth breaker side, they all should have kind of dropped most of their troops if they had any into the ceasefire. I don't know, it depends what you want to do here. We're still pretty early in the age, so depending if you're even considering training elites or just going for a wizard's break or science pump, usually a lot of people release their army, which kind of looks like that might be the case on this side here, except for these big dryads here don't seem to be doing very much. They must not have released very much at all. They must have a pretty good income with that extra bonus income that they get. So again, good job, Colorful Knights Hospitaller. Took this war. I mean, we expected no less. One province short on the opposing side. Again, you're a really skilled war kingdom, so I mean, no real shock there that you took this war. Let's move on to the next one. We got Marauding Critters versus Myths and Legends War Agreed, another war that's just ended recently. It looks like not too long ago, probably earlier this morning, my time. But again, can see the bigger kingdom here in this equation, land-wise, ended up being the victor. Now, that's not usually the case because we know more experienced kingdoms like to take down bigger kingdoms and take the acres with them as well. But as you can see, upon withdrawal, they did get quite a nice spike in acres kingdom-wide. I mean, that's quite significant. Almost 5,000 acres down there. Let's take a look at the net worth side to see what kind of war we were looking at here. Again, two provinces short on marauding critters. But they definitely did put up a good fight. Obviously, they couldn't sustain based on these net worth lines. It almost looks like definitely dragons were involved again. No one's really growing. Both of them are sustaining damage right up until the end here. Maybe they release some troops. Who knows? They dip a little bit. Let's take a look at the honor. Again, two provinces short on the withdrawal side. Great fight still by marauding critters, but again, right before min time or maybe after 30 hours, this war was kind of decided as marauding critters just lacked the province power and possibly even the war planning to win this war. Definitely with two provinces short. Obviously don't recommend going into a war if you don't have a solid plan. And being short provinces never a good combination. Let's take a look at the next war here. Pillow Talk versus Schizophrenic Cocktail. I think we were looking at this one before. Wow, this one just ended. Okay, look at that. Pillow Talk defeats Schizophrenic Cocktail. Land-wise, it looks like, this one started out. Schizophrenic Cocktail was doing extremely well managing the land, but again, net worth and honor tell a different story. Looking at the net worth side of things, I mean, it's pretty obvious that again, land doesn't tell it all, but there is still a downward trend on the land as well. So even though they are taking quite a bit of land back and forth, again, you can tell by the net worth here and the drops on the chains from the Blue Kingdom that the Red Kingdom obviously can't sustain those waves. They're likely taking some dragons on both sides as well. As you can tell net worth is just dropping. Usually, if one side doesn't have a dragon, it's more likely that they're going to grow. Um, because dragons do kill a lot of troops, and if you send your troops at dragons and you're constantly funding and train, and you can't keep your troops trained, your net worth is just going to continue to drop. So, we can kind of look at that as an indicator. Looking at the land-wise side of things, Pillow Talk again, the victor. Schizophrenic Cocktail, the party that withdrew. I mean, looking at land, there's still pretty good spreads here on both kingdoms. Definitely a good choice for Schizophrenic to withdraw from this one. If we look at net worth damage, I mean, again, slightly more damage on Schizophrenic Cocktail side. I mean, I think this war with better planning, possibly on Schizophrenic Cocktail side, could have easily gone their way. Or if the enemy had slipped up a little bit more. Again, honor tells a different story. Quite a bit of honor was taken out of this war, almost 5,000 honor, which is quite impressive on this dip here for Pillow Talk. Again, the honor really tells you more or less what's going on. You can see a very nice tight war here in the beginning, but approaching min time or just before min time, each successive wave, just, Pillow Talk seemed to be doing more and more damage and just making it a little bit harder. But again, Red tried to pull it back here right at the end. They had a pretty good wave, brought it back. Maybe they could have had something there. But definitely, maybe both sides just had a good fight, and the other kingdom did such a good job that they wanted to let them have it. So, possibly a tactical withdrawal on that front. Because again, land-wise, they didn't suffer too much. If anything, they grew in size a little bit there. So, good for both kingdoms for playing that war well and maintaining the stability of your kingdoms. Excellent war. Definitely hope you guys had a good time. Let's move on to the next one. War agreed 4-9. Happy B-Day, Pork, and Kukai War. I guess it's someone's birthday. I'll drink to that. Here we go. All right, let's check out, see if this war is still in progress. Okay, this is another war that's ended recently. So super happy birthday. Congratulations on your victory. Checking out net worth side of things, this just looks like it was kind of a beatdown. One province short on the withdrawal side. So one province extra. I mean, we kind of expected no less in this war. Check the honor to see what was going on. Looks like this war started out nice and tight, but again, missing that province can really hurt in the long run, especially when all cylinders are firing on both sides, or especially the enemy side. I mean, there's some nice net worth convergence here. Sorry, some nice honor convergence here on the lines, but as the war wages on, they seem unable to achieve that convergence. Taking a quick look at the land side of things, one side clearly has some bigger provinces here. So as you can see why they withdrew, I mean, where's the bottom end over here is, here's their top end. So they're about down here. So again, they kind of just got sat on by this other kingdom who had one extra province. Still quite a bit of damage done on this side, though. Maybe they may have focused their chains a little bit too much on this one player that also looks to have reset. Um, now that I have my other account, we can take a look at this. Happy B-Day, Port Kukai War. So I was just going to take a quick look. So that's 4-9. So we're going to go over to my. Oh, yay. Woo. 1-1. I do nothing here. It's completely useless besides looking at these things like this. So we're going to take a look at 4-9. I think that guy might have reset his province. Yeah, he definitely reset his province to a ferry, so I guess he wanted to play TM or something. Definitely having more ferries, or pure ferries especially, definitely would help this age. So congratulations on your victory. I mean, this is definitely a tactical reset. So it'd be interesting to see what they do in their next war. Definitely a kingdom to watch. I mean, looking at their war score, it's not the highest, but still they've got two wars. Their land rank #1, honor rank #3. They've got a dancing tree from World of Warcraft on their thing. I mean, who doesn't want to go to war with these guys? All right, let's move on to Take a quick look. I think we're done here. Let's take a look at the next one. Good job, guys. Congratulations on your war victory. All right, we're looking at Warg Packet versus Reborn of Noah. Again, I'm pretty sure I know who Warg Packet is. They got a great banner. Um, Reborn of Noah. I think I've seen these guys before. However, this isn't necessarily their name, possibly. I'm not sure. This could be an entirely different kingdom altogether. Work Packet goes in one province short. They've never really been known to back away from a good fight, but definitely it looks like this is a great fight that they're up against here. Um, let's take a look at the land. This war just ended recently, so definitely, Work Packet again. Great land exchange here, but definitely Noah managed to take it. Again, quite a significant exchange and growth here on the land side. Let's take a look at the net worth side of things. It's clear Noah was in control majority of the war. Their chains were just more devastating. And again, one province short on Vargpack, it definitely didn't make it any easier when you're evenly matched. It's very easy to lose ground, especially once your best provinces start taking out. I mean, Vorg Packet, despite their good performance on net worth and land, didn't seem to really be able to converge on the honor side. So they definitely came out short on this one. Noah walked away with a good amount of honor as well, but definitely not as much land. That shoots them up there quite a bit. Um, so they're one of those bigger kingdoms now. And at the end, we're just going to take a quick look at the top 10 kingdoms as well, just to see what's going on that front. That'll be something we do more often. So congratulations on your victory, Noah. Warg Packet, looks like you fought a great war. However, being one province short and evenly matched, definitely was a tough battle for you on that front. Let's move on to the next war. Drunken Party, Unnamed Kingdom. Let's see here. Land-wise, I mean, it's clear Drunken Party is not really going to be able to make a huge dent in Unnamed Kingdom. Let's take a quick look at the net worth side of things. Uh, you know, Drunken Party taking a lot of net worth damage, down one province as well. So looking at the land side of things, Drunken Party probably not gonna have a good time this war. Net worth being a good indicator on this one. Switching over to honor here, again, similar to the War Packet War, this one is a lot worse shape though. This kingdom is just bleeding right now, and they've just passed their min time. So, definitely one of those instances where if you just drag this war out, Drunken Party, it seems like your opponent, as you can see here, they're currently must be waving right now as we're speaking, are doing a pretty good job taking those acres. So it looks like Unnamed Kingdom is probably in line for a nice acre boost at the end of this war as well, although they are not a very big kingdom compared to the last one we were just looking at. Um, so let's take a look at the honor side again. It's kind of the same story as the land. Drunken Party just seems to be feeding into the enemy. There's not much they can do here. They found a good opponent, and they're you know, getting their pounded. They are doing pretty well though. I mean, if you look at the net worth change, they have sustained quite a bit of damage, but they're doing a good amount of damage to the enemy as well, just not enough probably where it counts. They have some bigger provinces in the kingdom as well. This big ferry, but these big humans and these big halflings are probably some dangerous customers. However, the net worth per acre on these bigger guys isn't that great. Similar to the net worth per acre on these guys, except this big ferry. This is probably one of the better um, players in the game. But again, in this war, definitely the biggest province. He's probably togging and things like that, keeping all the duration spells going, unless they have an elf in the kingdom, a fairy elf maybe. But this province is keeping them going for sure. And again, on the other side, this big human is probably turtling at home, just growing slowly and making most use of their science. But definitely, Drunken Party, um, your core seems to be suffering the most out of this exchange. So, maybe your TMs will be in a good position. Some of your TMs will be in a good position still at the end of this war, but at great expense to your core. So just keep in mind, this early on, it's not necessarily very easy to explore. So, and it's always kind of sucky getting stuck in the smaller land and net worth range. Not too many options for targets. So no, definitely something to keep in mind as you're losing acres. Let's move on to the next war. We got the Wood PM for War versus Worms War. Take a look at the land. Very nice exchange of land here. Evenly matched kingdoms. Um, good battle. Definitely no one's in any position to even consider withdrawal here. Let's take a look at net worth. Pretty significant play here by Worms. Um, you know, Despite the land, the wood is taking sustained damage here, possibly, based on the worms, horizontal movement here, possibly not dealing with as many dragons. It looks like the wood may be eating dragons on this war. Let's take a quick look at the land. I mean, not too much difference here. Both kingdoms look pretty evenly matched in terms of land. There's a lot of net worth damage in this war, though, definitely on the wood side. So they must be sustaining a lot of ops, as well as losing several more acres, and possibly this where the wood is just coming up to their wave shortly. So there should be a drop on the worm side in terms of net worth. Let's take a look at the honor. Yeah, see, we get nice convergence here leading up to min time, and then at right before min time or at min time, it seems like this wave kind of fell short for the wood, and the damage from worms was quite significant here. I mean, look at the drop compared to the bottom end here. That's like two net worth brackets apart. Again, pretty significant even after their wave. Sorry, two honor brackets apart, even after their wave, still unable to really bring them down. If anything, Worms has grown in honor. So this war, it looks like Worms is now taking advantage of an opponent that may be unwilling to withdraw, but I mean, that remains to be seen. Depending on how the waves are lined up, that determines your exit strategy. So we can't say for sure without actually speaking to the monarchs in charge here. Again, everyone has a little strategy. I just want everyone, again, to keep in mind that land is one of the hardest things to get, especially the later on in the age that you go, especially if you stay low and at the bottom of the server. Definitely this range is still a decent range. But as the mid years approach, if you're still under 20 or 30K land, you're gonna have very minimal targets and not much of a chance to go for any crowns if that is your goal. So again, let's take a look at the net worth side of things here. Definitely big play by Blue Kingdom. We'll see if Woods can pull back, although it's not looking good for them. So good luck, guys. Hopefully, you got a big play coming. But definitely looks like Worms is taking advantage of this war now. Moving on to the next war. I was fired because in StarCraft +2, so I'd expect them to be winning this war just on the extra provinces alone. And again, that seems to be the case. Pretty significant acre gain. Again, a much smaller kingdom overall compared to the last kingdom, even about 6K acres smaller. To give you a sense of where these wars are. Um, on the kingdom net worth side of things, definitely having two players short is showing its issues. Even if you are evenly matched, not having those extra provinces doing that damage, doing those extra marches, can really impact a long war. Unless you can close it out before min time. This is probably one of those wars that is best withdrawn at min time when you are short provinces and you are evenly matched on skill. I think you just want to walk away with as many acres as possible at the end of the war. Again, honor kind of tells the same thing as land and net worth. StarCraft is taking this one, so good job on your victory, StarCraft. Although, it's expected being +2 provinces on that one. Definitely looks like there was a good bout here at the very beginning, but quickly petered off after the first or second wave. So good job on your win, StarCraft. Even though again +2 provinces, we expect no less. Romania versus up Ships Creek. Romania is one of those kingdoms I was saying everyone should keep an eye on. Definitely think it was somebody, but I'm not sure who it is at this point. Some nice land exchange here, but up Ships Creek, the Red Kingdom here seems to have taken a significant victory. land-wise. Again, net worth kind of says the same thing. Whatever Romania is doing, this is kind of the pattern that their kingdom was following every war or the past war that they were in as well. And as we've been looking at it, it's just a significant, steady drop or decline here. Most likely both sides eating dragons. We can leave it up to them to tell us how many dragons if they so choose. As much as I would like to pull the news on everybody's wars and count these dragons, it does take a significant amount of time and resources. Both things I do not have at this time. So if anyone wants to volunteer their assistance in pulling news, counting dragons, or if kingdoms just want to report to me the dragons that they're seeing, that's probably easier for everybody. That would be great. So again, looking at Romania here, we're going to war honor, um, some nice convergence here. But again, after the first or second wave, Romania is really unable to achieve convergence again and then diverge from it. Definitely not the best time for Romania to withdraw, but I think, it's a good choice either way because no matter what, they were just going to be losing more land in this situation. I mean, it looks like they tried their best to pull back, but Red was just having a wave, I guess, right at the end there and managed to claw back as many acres as possible. However, it still looks like overall Romania gained in acres. Again, this is the 20K cap war range for land. Let's move on to the next war. Good job, Red Kingdom. Let's see, we got Lego Forever More versus Revenge of the 80s. We got a nice even playing field. Taking a quick look at the races, I mean, mostly orcs and fairies on this side. How could they lose? Lots of dryads and some avians, some halflings. The orcs a mixture. Looks like a lot of attackers. This is maybe a TM. They're dark elf. Maybe some of these dwarves are TMs. Elf, halfling, maybe the human. No, the human. Not sure. I don't think he could be a TM. His net worth is extremely low, and he hasn't really done very much. So, whatever is going on in that province, we will not know without more intel. But definitely looks like the Red Kingdom is taking this one. I mean, this is what I would call a farm out in terms of net worth wise. Land wise, though, definitely doesn't seem to be as much of a farm out. But net worth wise, I mean, that's just crazy how much they're dropping. On every wave, that's just boom, boom, boom. They're almost a million apart right now. Pretty significant damage done, as you can see here. Definitely looks like this war is going to Revenge of the 80s. Good job, everybody. Let's take a look at the honor. The honor tells a little bit of a different battle. Revenge of the 80s definitely coming into this with less honor, taking advantage of their position and taking as much honor as possible. They'll probably experience an extremely nice honor spike should the Blue Kingdom withdraw from this war. So good luck to both sides, but currently it looks like this one's going to Revenge of the 80s, and the longer Lego sticks around, the worse off they're going to be. Again, 46 hours, they're coming right up to min time, so this could be the recovery and withdrawal zone, but maybe not. Maybe they have an ace up their sleeve. However, based on the net worth damage, I just don't see how you could pull back from such a steep drop, but by all means, prove me wrong if possible. Let's move on to the next war. Pound Town War versus Metallic Recruiting. Wow, one, two, three, four, five provinces extra on Metallic. Um, I mean, what do we expect to see here? Not that close of a war in terms of land wise, but Pound Town, good job grabbing those acres and bringing them down. Again, on the net worth side of things, who knows what's going on Metallic side, but Metallic seems to be taking a pounding. Literally, Pound Town War is pounding Metallic down. Um, can they sustain this? I mean, look, they're all humans and fairies. This is a pretty good combination of attackers and a TM core versus avians, dryads, some slower armies, but lots of fairies and orcs. Can they overcome the humans? It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case in this war. If you look at the damage, it seems like it was extremely focused. Maybe Metallic doesn't have a war leader. I'm not sure what's going on. But definitely not making use of those five provinces. As you can see, Pound Town is taking that honor away, bringing them down, looking for that convergence. It's very likely Pound Town could take this war unless Metallic can come back and bring those other five provinces online. Maybe they're just sitting them out so they could have an even war. It's hard to say. However, there is damage on almost every province or a little bit of growth. Again, it is possible they have some sort of special arrangement to have an even war with five less provinces doing is, being 100% active for the sake of the war. I mean, that's the only way I could really see it. But honestly, it looks like Metallic is getting pounded. So definitely a war to watch right now to see what happens, especially so many players down. One would ask, who is this Pound Town War Kingdom? And, if Metallic is actually using those other five provinces, they have extra. What the heck is going on in this war? I'm sure dragons might have something to do with it. Um, but that's, you know, kind of indicated by the downward trend of the net worth on both sides. However, maybe not too many dragons. This one might be worth pulling the news on before 40 hours is up. It's at 37 right now, just to see what kind of dragons and what kind of hostile they were playing with. Let's take a look at the honor side of things again. Good luck, Pound Town, Metallic. What's going on, guys? Let's move on to the next war. Looks like we had another nice even war. We're having a break. Have a Kit Kat. I can go for a Kit Kat right now. How come we can't fund dragons? That's sounds like some issues going on in that kingdom, or maybe that is their name. Definitely looks like the Blue Kingdom came in on the smaller end, but so far I've been taking the acres towards their end of things. Looking at the net worth, looks like a pretty tough battle. Red Kingdom swinging on top of um, the Blue Kingdom, which leads me to believe they're relatively acre fat. So it looks like red is currently the leaner kingdom versus blue, although not much leaner. Looking at the land here, some significant damage on these dryads and orcs on the Kit Kat kingdom, but still they seem to be maintaining damage. However, they definitely suffered a good amount of net worth damage here. But I mean, if you add it up, it's looks like, definitely Can't Fund Dragons is taking more damage across the board. I mean, again, looking at the max land size, this kingdom's slightly larger at this time. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Definitely a war, good war to watch. Nowhere near done. No reason either of these kingdoms should withdraw at min time. Definitely like to see this war go on a little bit further. Kit Kat seems to have quite a bit of honor, but Blue seems to be growing in the honor department, so definitely looks like a war that Blue could win. If Red's not careful, they're going to lose a lot of honor on this one, potentially a lot of land as well. So definitely, good kingdoms to watch. But again, we're in the 20K acre cap for land. So these aren't exactly the biggest wars going on. And again, 35 hours. Still at least time for another wave before min time. So good luck, everybody. Hope to see some good battling. We can check the land percent land side of things here. Definitely Fun Dragons has a little bit fatter at the top here. Well, Kit Kat is a little bit leaner on the bottom here. You can tell just by looking at the net worth per acre here. As you can see, there's a lot less net worth on these acres than on the enemy side. A lot of these provinces are, pretty big. They're not releasing their armies, no matter how much they get chained. It's evident by how much net worth they're losing. However, it looks like, this Dryad took a big beating. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, come min time on this one. Good luck, everyone. Let's move on to the next war. RCC engaged for war. Unnamed Kingdom, hostile, PFO. Looks like RCC is down one province. I believe these are the Crayon. This is the Crayon Kingdom, if anybody remembers from ages past. Take a look at them if you like. They usually have pretty fun banners. Let's just do that quickly. We're going to look at RCC's banner because I think they have a pretty fun one usually. So they're 4-8. Let's go to, see, not far off from the last kingdom we were just looking at. There you go. Crayons versus Jerry. I see. Must be some kind of joke towards 410. Unnamed Kingdom. Definitely a good war score there, 1-1. Versus Crayons, 1 to 0.74. Definitely looks like they fought a pretty tough war in their last battle. 101, these guys 102 on their average. Um, so it'll be interesting to see where this war goes. RCC, I know for a fact, knows their way around war, so there's no reason they'll give up easily. Looking at the land side of things, it looks like a nice, tough battle. Good back and forth. However, RCC again showing, being down one province and equally skilled kingdoms. There must be some dragon play going on here. Definitely, Red Kingdom is emerging slightly victorious in the net worth battle. Let's take a look at the honor side of things. Kind of the same story. It seems like RCC started off a bit stronger and are petering out a little bit at the end here. Red Kingdom's actually just gaining honor on this one. There's still some time before min time, but RCC, it's time to make a big move because currently it looks like this war is going to Red Kingdom. Good war so far, everyone. Definitely another war to keep an eye on, although this amount of divergence in the net worth is usually a good indicator that the war is going one way. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Mythcraft versus 9mm safety always off. That's the Cyrus Kingdom from Trailer Park Boys. They've been around for some ages now. They always have the same banner. I like Trailer Park Boys, and it's Canadian, so it's funny. These are the BLL guys. They're 3 provinces extra, so I expect Cyrus to win on this one. Let's take a look at the net worth. Wow, okay. Mythcraft doing a good amount of damage. However, they did start on top, and 9mm seems to be straddling them a little bit. Let's take a look at the honor side of things. Definitely looks like Mythcraft unable to really make a move past this line. However, they have done a good amount of damage to 9mm. They're not letting them take off. Looking at the land side of things, it looks like some deep chaining. Some provinces under 200 acres, some provinces under 300 acres. Possibly more damage on 9mm side, although looking at the net worth change, definitely more damage on Mythcraft side. Looking at the land again, land percentage, is definitely a little bit land fat to Mythcraft, being a little bit leaner right now. They are also short provinces, so keep that in mind as well. Let's take a quick look at the honor again. Yeah, I mean, almost like a stalemate. So Mythcraft definitely a tough competitor, even 3 provinces short. 9mm, if you're not careful. Red Kingdom has still great chance to win, but again, this is anyone's war. We're only 24 or 25 hours in, so still more than about halfway till min time. So definitely a great war to watch, even though they are short, 3 provinces short. Both sides are fighting pretty well. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is the one we're not supposed to talk about just yet. The Utopian crosswords versus Barco Loco. Looks like we're going to do it anyway. Just a quick look at things. Kind of still headed in the same direction that we were seeing before. Barco taking the lead. However, looks like they're a little bit fatty in comparison. So good luck to both sides in that war. Again, 11 hours old. Not much to report on here. We'll look at that one tomorrow. Flirting with 112 STFO versus the Woods War. How many people are named the Woods here? Seems to be a very popular name, Woods Trees. I can't blame you. I like them myself. Being a wolf, I like to run through trees a lot. But besides the point, let's take a look at the land here on this 9 hours in. Woods definitely taking some gains here, but some definite losses going into this war. This is a pretty decent wave going on here. 1 province short, or 1 province extra on the wood side. Let's take a quick look at Kingdom net worth. Some good damage done here. You can see Wood's kind of taking off here. However, this is a nice strong opening wave for the Red Kingdom. They brought them down probably more than Woods took them down. As you can see, they're cresting right on top here, so it's very likely by min time or 24 hours in, we can see some convergence here on both sides on the net worth side. Looking at the honor side of things, one province extra, not a significant difference, but it seems like the Blue Kingdom, the Woods, is doing a good amount of damage honor-wise. However, maybe Red just had their wave portion of it, so that's why we see a bit of a dip there kind of towards the end. Again, one of those wars, not too much is going on as the war just started, so not much we can talk about now. Just looking at it because it is in the target finder. Let's move on to the next one. 6 hours in, what can we expect to see here? WTF you looking at versus the Simpsons? Let's take a look at the numbers. One player short on the Simpsons side. So far, quite a significant amount of net worth damage on the Simpsons. Acres not so much visible. Let's take a look at the net worth side of things. Um, Simpsons, according to the Target Finder, is down almost a half a million net worth already to, WTF's less than 100K. So definitely Simpsons took a significant amount of damage there, and on their next wave, it looks like Red is going to achieve convergence there. Let's take a look at the honor here. WTF obviously fighting pretty hard, but Simpsons wave is taking that honor back. So let's take a look at the concentration of net worth on both sides here. Looks like some provinces were chained. They get some pretty high net worth actually here on this dryad for only losing 224 acres. Let's take a look at this change here. Yeah, definitely a significant amount of damage on the Simpsons side. I'd be shocked if the Simpsons were able to pull this off. WTF looks like definitely an experienced kingdom. I'm not saying that Simpsons doesn't have a great shot to win this, but if they're not careful, especially being short one province and the damage they've already taken, um, they're in dangerous territory. So definitely tread lightly in this war, guys. WTF seems to know what they're doing, definitely. So um, just don't get too cocky, guys, because looks like it's going to be a very evenly matched war, and we all know what happens when one side gets a little bit too cocky, especially when they're short provinces. So best of luck to both sides. Let's take a look at the next one. Winx Club War 3-5 versus Evil Friends. We're going to take a quick look at the land here. It looks like a nice tight war, again, only 8 hours old, so I mean, there's not too much data here actually reflective of the war. Something to keep in mind while we're looking at the target finder. Again, another smaller kingdom. Definitely looks like the Red Kingdom is controlling the net worth. Probably no dragons in this war. Both sides seem to be gaining and or maintaining a steady net worth. Let's take a quick look at the honor side of things. Again, this isn't a very big, kingdom overall. Although you see the Blue Kingdom here is doing a great job grabbing on to that honor from the Red Kingdom. They definitely know what they're doing. So, keep an eye on your honor. Red Kingdom, Winx Club looks like they're there for, to take that away from you for sure. And looking at the net worth wise, whatever they're doing, it's probably lasting damage there. So definitely keep a close eye on your TMs and your core. I mean, looking at the land damage, um, not too much going on at this time. Again, there's only really been one wave, probably. Not a significant amount of damage, just a few small hits. Again, really not much to look at in this war. Honor-wise, again, it's pretty evenly matched, so good luck to both sides. See how that one goes. Let's move on to the next one. 5 hours old, war agreed. 5-5 PSO, Pain Train. I think we've all heard of Pain Train before. They're short one province, though, so let's see how that's working out for them. Again, looking at the numbers, it looks fairly evenly damaged on here. Both, again, one province short on Pain Train, so good luck to Pain Train. I think that might be Corsair's kingdom. He always posts funny jokes in the forums, as well as in their Muga room. So definitely check it out if you want to see some funny jokes. He always posts in the forums again. Pain Train looks like they're doing a pretty good job net worth wise controlling it. Both kingdoms seem to be headed downward, so I think there's some dragon play involved here. Again, this war is only 5 hours old, so really only this part of this chart is actually good for what's going on in the war. So again, something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at the honor side of things. Good job on Pain Train. Looks like they're maintaining their honor a little bit. Again, keep in mind it's just this area here, that represents what's going on in the war. So not too much of a difference, although it looks like Pain Train may be on, the a little bit receiving a little bit less honor, but they definitely did some damage on this side. So it'll be interesting to see where this war goes. Good luck to both sides. Let's take a look at the last war. We're only 1 hour in, although we're on the next tick now, so we're 2 hours in. Let's see who we got. Epic Meme versus Orc Melting Parties. Wow, this is a micro war. 2, 4, 6, 8 versus 8. This will definitely be an interesting war to watch for all those people that say, they want to play with smaller kingdoms. This is like, smaller, like a little bit bigger than a Genesis's biggest kingdom. So this will definitely be an interesting war to watch. Definitely looks like both sides are serious as well, which is nice to see. Um, on their side of things. It looks like a good back and forth battle. Definitely a war to watch. Epic Meme versus Orc Melting Parties. Let's take a look at their banners. 8-7 and 8-5. Definitely fun one to look at here. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so they got nothing there. Definitely a little micro kingdom. They got one province that's currently in protection. Let's see who they're fighting here. So they are one province down actually on Epic Meme's side. Orc melting parties might have an upper hand in this since they do have that one extra province doing damage right away. So definitely an interesting war. I think everyone can watch. And especially for those who want to see smaller kingdom sizes. This is kind of the what you could expect in this case. Again, looking at the land, they're barely not even at 10K. Most of the wars we're looking at, they're 20 to 50K acre range. So definitely the micro war of the age so far. So best of luck to Epic Meme and Orc Melting Part. Especially Epic Meme is down protection. So best of luck to both sides. All right, and that's it for